just this week we saw the Supreme Court put an end to the Jegede versus Akeredolu challenging of Ondo State. And following that event, we saw a lot of analysis about the Supreme Court judgment from different people of the APC. And today, to properly discuss this topic, we have as a guest Dr. Kayode Ajulo. He was in the president's legal team back in 2019 presidential election petition, and he's also the founder Egalitarian Mission for Africa. Dr. Kayode, it's a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you very much. My pleasure too. I'm very grateful. And I apologize for the visuals. I apologize. Where I am, in Nigeria, we are not, power is not luxury.
Okay.
I think that is what,
no problem about that.
What you are seeing now.
There is no problem. I am Augusta Neka, and I welcome you to this exclusive interview where we are discussing the implication of the Supreme Court judgment and if APC would have valid candidates for the presidential and the governorship elections come 2023. Thank you very much for participating. Now, Dr. Kayode, let's first discuss what's your take on the entire matter, the Supreme Court judgment, and the analysis ranging on both sides. Some say that this simply means that the caretaker committee is not valid, and some are arguing otherwise. What's your take on this?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm afraid it's going to take a lot of analogy. It's going to take a lot of narration for us to really understand where we are, where we are coming from, and why we find ourselves in this situation. As it is, after the election in Ondo State, that is the gubernatorial election. Gubernatorial election, thank you, of Ondo State. The loser, that is, I don't want to use the word the loser, that is the person that was not returned. That is Mr. Jegede, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, decided to approach the tribunal, that's the election tribunal, to raise the fact that he is supposed to be the winner of the election. One of the grounds is to the fact that the nomination of the winner, that is Akeredolu, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is 40 in the sense that one of the two persons that is statutorily allowed to sign the nomination form is a sitting governor, and being a sitting governor, you cannot be seen, because based on our constitution, section 183 of our constitution forbids a sitting governor, who is the chief executive officer of his state, from holding another executive office. Mind the words of the constitution, executive office. And one of the words of that section is shall not, which is mandatory, which is not issue of discretion. And when we talk of executive office, it has been explained, it has been defined in several fora in which everybody should know what an executive office is. And at the tribunal, from the tribunal, the matter went to the Court of Appeal, then to the Court of Appeal, to Supreme Court. Now at the Supreme Court, because this matter happened to be a constitutional matter, it has to be with the full panel of the Supreme Court. And this full panel of the Supreme Court is made up of 7 justices. And in delivering their judgment, 3 out of 4, you can know how close it is. 3 out of 4 decided to determine the issue of the governor endorsing the certificate on the nomination form of a candidate. And this is what the 3 dissenting judgments said about that having been executive governor, that he is in violation of section 183 of the Constitution. Therefore, that endorsement, that nomination is withdrawn, and that nomination happened to be the Exhibit P21, which is the nomination of Rotimi Akeredolu. And having withdrawn the nomination and rendered the nomination null and void, that means that APC cannot be said to have candidates for that election. And based on that, the dissenting judgment of 3 justices of the Supreme Court nullified the election and declared Jegede as the winner of that election. Mind you, this is the 3 justices. Now, the remaining 4 justices came with this idea that they are not going to get to the merit of whether what Malam Boni, that is the governor of the Yobe State, did is right or wrong, because Malam Boni be the center of what is complained of wasn't joined as a party. And that means that technically the remaining 4 did not touch that issue at all. And we all know in law, in jurisprudence, once there is dissenting judgment is not worthless as being peddled by some in some quarters. Dissenting judgment has already given the thinking of the justices, and that dissenting judgment, any good lawyer, any lawyer whatsoever of any nature, what is expected is that one to be used as a guide, as a hint of what is supposed to come. And as I speak today at Supreme Court, there is no other ruling, other judgment that I can say that has gone contrary to what the Supreme Court, that is those three judgments has done. So as it is, though I must say, the only thing that differentiates dissenting judgment from leading judgment, that is majority judgment, is that while majority judgment take the day, the dissenting judgment cannot be enforced. But like I said, it is like an hint. And the hint here is, it is expected that if anybody, again, should go to court today on the same issue and join Malam Boni, we can, as our guess is as much that what will happen is anything Malam Boni will do or has done will be rendered null and void. And it's expected that having taken that hint from Supreme Court, what the party should have done is to ask Malam Boni to either step down, resign, or be removed, so that the party can start a new life. But because of maybe vested interest, a lot of people have tried to turn their judgment upside down. I can even notice some people saying, after all, President of Nigeria can be the president or the chairman of ECOWAS, forgetting that ECOWAS and all those associations, they are not executive position. They are more or less like when you are appointed as a visitor of a university, where you only visit or which is basically part-time or ceremonial in capacity. So as it is, fear today, and even the fear is becoming real, because I need to tell you, I've spoken to a lot of members of APC, and what is happening in APC as of this evening is that most of the members of the APC are already trying to talk of Plan B. And you know what Plan B means? That our leg will be in the APC the one side, and we'll look for another party where we can be romancing. And you can know that this thing will cause a big problem for APC, and that is where we are as of now.
Okay, so from your analysis, I take it that you believe or you support the analysis given by Festus Keyamo, saying that the party has to dissolve the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee and reconstitute the entire committee from afresh. You believe that sentiment?
Yes, I believe in that. Not only Keyamo, the two special advisor, or I may not know, maybe senior special advisor or special advisor to the president, one on political matter, that's Baba Femi Ojudu, Senator Baba Femi Ojudu, and Itai Ian, who is one of the aides of the president. Both of them made a joint statement supporting this position. And I know as a fact that the former immediate past legal advisor of APC, in the person of Babatunde Ogala, senior advocate of Nigeria, make the same position, and a lot of Nigerians and a lot of lawyers, they already made this position. And the question that is plaguing the mind of many people now is, it is as if the APC as a party has already been programmed to fail, because till now many people never believe this will ever happen to a ruling party. Mind you.
Okay, just for the sake of the people that are not abreast with what's happening, I'm just going to read the section 183 that was quoted during Peter Kayama's analysis. It said the section 183 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution says, the governor shall not, during the period when he holds office, hold any other executive office or paid employment in any capacity whatsoever. Now that's the section that Kayama quoted, but I'm going to talk about the other analysis that have negated his position. And they said that it cannot stand because the National Chairman of the Caretaker Committee is not an executive position, neither is he paid. So it's not a valid argument. That's what other analysis or other analysts have come to say, that there is no cause for alarm and the APC people should be calm. But from what you're saying, there is a cause for alarm. Am I right?
Certainly, there is cause for alarm, because as it is now, as long that His Excellency Malam Buni continue to be, as long as the leadership, the party continue to be under the supervision of Malam Buni, as long as it continues to be, then you know that there is liability. As I speak, Malam Buni remain a legal liability to the party. It is so obvious. Only yesterday, nothing less than 5 cases have been filed, and I have somebody just whispered to me that there is one injunction stopping whatsoever thing Malam Buni should be doing. And I believe in politics, particularly in a country like Nigeria, issue of litigation, it is an investment. Nobody would like to buy nobody would like to plunge into any investment that is encumbered, that has been pledged with wars. And this is exactly what APC is facing.
Okay, so but the problem now is majority of the lawyers in APC, we have Jegede, we have Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, who is also a senior advocate of Nigeria, have come to say that these claims are just nefarious and that they should not stand. And he has put out a statement calming the public and saying that even if these injunctions should go forward, Malam Buni is protected under section 308 of the Nigerian Constitution, which says that even if he had been called to court, it would not have helped their case. So that claim that if he was joined in the case, it would not have made any difference. Now that's another part of the analysis. But are you trying to say that if he had actually been joined, PDP probably would have won that case?
Well, let us explain one thing. The immunity granted by Section 308 for the chief executive officer, that is sovereign, that is the president, vice president, the governor and deputy governor, is not absolute. It's not absolute. There are exceptions, and we have plethora of authority for this. In the case of Apaku and Inogo, the case of Kayode Fayemi versus Ayodele Fayose has already the authority in these 2 cases and many other cases is to the fact that when the matter is election matter, the issue of litigation, your issue of immunity for governors and presidents has to be relaxed. And that's why you see that despite the fact that a governor is in office, someone can be issued against him so far that the matter is election matter. And with the filler from the Supreme Court, it is another pointer that even the law has been so widened now that you did not, as a chief executive officer, need to stand for election before you can be taken to court, and you cannot enjoy immunity. So that issue of immunity of maybe Malam Bruni is a governor, and being a governor cannot be summoned to court, has been taken care of. But the fear is this, and I think I need to raise this quickly. APC today happen to be the ruling party in Nigeria. From all the unit, the structure of the party, from the units level to the ward level, to the local government level, to state level and national level, all the leadership, that is the executive, none of them are elected. It is so tragic and so sad that we have that. And these are the same people that are trying to nominate people for election. Whereas the provision of the constitution of the party has already made it clear that whosoever that with the leadership, that is those that will run the affairs of the party, has to be elected. But my worry is, as of today, after long period of time, the leadership of PDP is still at peace, still comfortable to be run, to be governed by non-elected people. The leadership of APC seem to be relaxed, seem to be comfortable with that situation where all the structures of the party is not being superintended by elected people. And the question now we should ask is this: how long? Today we have even moved far. The situation is so bad that nobody is talking about election or being elected, to the point that someone who is in continuous violation of the constitution, that any act that is done under such leadership will be null and void, and the APC is still foisting that. Like I do say something, I have nothing against the governor Malam Bruni, that's the governor of Yobe State. I have a very high regards for him, and anywhere he stands to be, I want it to respect it. So this issue is not personal. This issue is about issue of law. Even I need to make an overture to him. Even if you should bring his wife today, not only his wife, even if he's his houseboy or his driver, if he should bring it to APC and make him the chairman, I don't think anybody will raise any issue. After all, I think that one will be in a comfortable situation. But for a governor, sitting governor, to continue to be in violation of provision of the constitution, that one is so bad, and we should not allow it to happen.
Okay, so despite this strong convictions of yours and the strong warnings put out by Keyamo, why do you think APC is still going ahead with this illegality, as you clarified for us?
Where there are sometimes in affairs of men that some actions and inaction defy logic. I think this is one of such action and omission that defies logic, because up to now, nobody can understand in a country of 200 million competent, strong Nigerians, to get a single person to superintend the leadership of a political party. A constitution we have to be violated to achieve that. It is so sad, and that one really can lead pointer to what is about to come in our politics.
Okay, because the Attorney General of Nigeria recently came out, or rather, your party people went to meet him, and he put a statement saying that the APC can't go on with their July 31st planned Congress. This is today, their Congress. So if they go on with their Congress and the Attorney General has given the go-ahead, is that still in violation of this is that still in violation of the law, rather?
Well, like I said, if tested, if anybody agree, take this matter to court, then there's the problem. And as a lawyer, and I need to say this, as a lawyer, we are not trained to speculate or to give assurance that this is what will happen. All what we are saying basically is a conditional. And even let's even be sincere. Even if at the end of the day, the court is going to say the otherwise, the apprehension itself, like I said, once there's somebody is a liability, that liability will plague the fortune of the party. And like I said some minutes ago, the party fortune is being plagued recently because many members, a lot of members of APC are now talking of Plan B.
Okay, remember that you are on the exclusive interview with Dr. Kayode Ajulo, and he has apologized for his cameras being turned off and using the background because of light issues. That is why he's using the background. So sincere apologies for that. And we are discussing the fate of the APC and introducing valid 2023 presidential and governorship candidates in regards to the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Jegede versus Rotimi of Ondo State. And just before I have to give this introduction, we have been discussing about the case, and Dr. Kayode obviously supports the stand of Dr. Festus Keyamo, saying that the party should reconstitute their committee. Now, one of the arguments or the points brought out by the Deputy Speaker of Senate, he said that the caretaker committee is an interim committee, not an executive one or a paid one. Therefore, it is not, it has not violated any law, and the Supreme Court cannot use that as a valid reason to support Jegede's case, which is why Jegede's lawyers did not actually bring it up. But you are arguing against that point. Can you please clarify on that?
Well, the Deputy Senate President is well known to me. Even I need to say this, that he was a member of when I was the National Secretary of Labour Party, he was one of those that we nominated to run under the party, and that is how he won the Senate seat in the first instance. And I know him as a lawyer. But you know, in a situation where someone is about to drone, you look for any straw to grab and to hold. The situation that's saying that because someone is not receiving salary or whatever, what he mentioned it, that makes the office not executive. We are living witness to some governors in Nigeria, despite being the executive governor, that refuse to receive salary throughout their tenure. I believe we can't say because they did not receive salary, they are not governors again, or their office is not executive office. At least when I talked about it, of recent is Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola that said he did not receive salary. But despite the fact that he is not receiving salary, that one did not deduct the fact that he is the governor of Osun State. So I think that is a very untenable argument. Executive office is well known. Executive office is clear. Executive office is someone that will be running the day-to-day activities of the party. And that's why you see that the electoral law is statutory. That is why four people. That is why two personnel will be the one that will endorse all the statutory notice, all the form to be filled, all the endorsement, nomination form and co. And it's even gone beyond. I know some people will tell you this is basically an internal affairs of the party, but internal affairs of the party has been distinguished from being internal affair or the general one, particularly when it comes to do with when a constitution give you an obligation to perform. As the National Secretary of APC, the whosoever that occupy that office has some constitutional obligation to perform constitutionally, statutorily, and that is why it is refused.
Dr. Kayode. Okay, I think Dr. Kayode is facing some network challenges. Remember that you can participate in this interview simply by raising up your digital hand. And I can see two hands being raised right now. While we wait for Dr. Kayode, let's see if they have contributions or questions. Elombah Television, I can see your hand. Please go ahead.
Mine is a question, so it will be best for Dr. Ajulo to be back. You can call another person.
Okay, let's wait for him to be back then. Jugudo, please forgive me if I mispronounce that. The floor is yours. Jugudo, I can see your hand.
Kayode is back.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Dr. Kayode, are you back?
Hello.
Jugudo, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening all. I think I like the way how APC is presently deceiving itself. They are deceiving themselves in the sense that nobody is saying, I read the position of Malami advising the Governors Forum and whatever that the Supreme Court did not specifically decide as to the illegality or otherwise of the Buni-led committee. Nobody is talking about that. We are looking at a situation where someone instituting a fresh suit challenging the legality. And in the long run, whether he likes it or not, I am not preempting, but for sure, if we are going to look at the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as that of the APC, then definitely, the Buni-led committee is a complete illegality, and whatever they do, or they have done, or they will do in the future will become null and void. Saying the provision is taking a paid work or an executive position. By convention, by practice, what Mai Mala Buni is doing is taking those functions that are statutorily executive powers as enshrined in the APC constitution. He cannot run away from that particular aspect. He has been taking over the affairs of that party in an executive capacity. So it's not all about being paid for or not. And if they will continue to remain caretaker, it means all political parties can choose to run on a caretaker committees. A president can sit down and put everybody in a caretaker committee. The earlier, the better for them. I have been for sometimes I contested House of Representatives. It is this kind of recklessness, it is this kind of clear violation of the provision of the Constitution that made me resign my membership of the APC. And today I am being vindicated. I feel fulfilled that yes, I left because this party does not respect its own rules and does not play according to the rules. And time will prove us right. Let them continue with what they are doing today. Let us stop advising them. If they are not, they have not learned from what happened in the two other states and some other states, they will learn in the future. We in the PDP, I don't even like the attitude of our the national publicity of the PDP, reminding them, telling them, no, we should keep quiet, let them go ahead, we wish them successful Congress. Please let them continue. We will test all these things in the court, whether they like it or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Guido. Dr. Kayode, I can see you back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. I'm operating under a very serious condition. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to read out Article 17 of the APC Constitution.
Sorry, if we have can we have Dr. Ajulo respond to what Junguda has said?
Well, yes, I don't think I let me deal with my response to what the last contributors what he said is more of concurring, even adopting his argument to let you know that there are a lot of apprehension. He hit the nail on the head. No one is complaining that maybe the Supreme Court has said do not sit, but subsequently in our Supreme Court, Akeredolu won by just let me say he got away with that problem by whisker. Just I know what it is for the decision, split decision of 3-4. It is quite, I know what it is. And if today we can have such. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
If today we can have such situation, and some people are still toying with the idea that let us continue, nothing will happen. Many thousands will happen. Thank you.
Okay, so please, if you have made your comments.
All right, network. Dr. Ajulo, my own question, it appears that our host...
Elombah television.
Okay, I think our host is
television.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Dr. Ajulo, my own question will be to... I'm looking at Article 20 of the APC Constitution. It talks about elections and appointments. It lists all the offices that must be occupied by people who are elected. Article 20, subsection 1A, all party offices prescribed or implied by this constitution shall be filled by democratically concluded elections at the respective national convention or congress, subject to as possible to consensus, provided, it not added the provision. Now, although of course, it also made provisions for an ad hoc committee where Dr. Buni's position falls in. Considering the length of time that Dr. Buni has occupied this elevated office of the ruling party, would you agree that the ruling party is in violation of its own laws, of its own constitution, as described in this Article 20?
Well, you know, the constitution, what you just read now is the constitution of the party. And I'm sure you will know that the only organ that can override the constitution of the party, not the constitution of Nigeria. I repeat, here we are talking of two constitutions, the constitution of APC as it is, and the constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The article you mentioned, you read some minutes ago, happened to be the constitution of the party, whereas the highest ruling organ of APC happened to be the National Executive Council. National Executive Council has some power to, let me use the word, to adjust some, some of the provision of the APC constitution. And I believe that is why most of the time, the National Executive Council, that's the neck of APC, can decide temporarily by giving maybe some period, just some period within which the needful will be done.
I note your use of the word temporarily.
Temporarily.
Thank you.
But,
and then it does
temporarily now,
yes,
it's now gradually turning to a usual feature in APC, in which, as I speak, all the elective offices in APC have been manned by those who are not elected. And the irony of it here is the fact that we are talking of democratic experiment, and the party, which is the vehicle to achieve that, its own organ is quite unelected. In APC now, what I see happening in APC is like bringing, if you remember the days of military sole administrator in our politics, it's nothing different from that. It is like bringing one lieutenant colonel or brigadier general to come and be to come and held the APC. And that you can see, you agree with me that the situation is so bad. This is not what it should be.
As a member of APC, does that situation worry you?
I'm worried. That is why you say I waste all the time trying to laboring, trying to explain what happened. The situation is so bad. It's so worrying. And And I'm sure it will worry everybody, irrespective of the party you belong to. Because that's why, if you remember, I mentioned something earlier. I say APC, we should look at the status of APC. If some other party, if they are the one doing that, it will have been different. But we're talking of ruling party, a party that everybody look up to. If they cannot achieve a very simple adherence to their constitution, then how would they be able to even take care of our Nigerian constitution? These are the things we should be looking at. And that is why it calls for sober reflection. And I'm really, really worried about that.
Yes. Another question I have is, I also know that the APC constitution has a provision of a very high organ of the party called the Board of Trustees. Are you worried that since the party came into office, APC has been operating without elected or appointed Board of Trustees of the party?
Well, I'm worried too. I'm worried, of course, I'm worried. I think I can see you properly now. You know, I just have to return back home. Sorry, good evening.
Yeah, let's of course, let's pause this.
Thank you very much. I think we can continue.
Okay, remember that you can join the conversation simply by raising up your digital hand, and I will try to accommodate you as much as time permits us. I can see a hand raised of Marcel. Please go ahead. Marcel?
Okay, thank you so much. If my attitude and my thinking represents what majority of Nigerians is, and which I will tell you is, nobody gives a damn about APC. Okay, and whatever is going within them, what we see it as an internal dog-eat-dog fight, and then we do not see any difference between the APC and the Supreme Court. So at the end of the day, they will sit down and give the Supreme Court instructions on what to give. So when there's internal squabbles, what they simply do is to, fight among themselves and then get the Supreme Court to give the verdict in which they, that favors the people that is seen as holding power, maybe someone that is strong in the presidency or something. The Supreme Court is not a place where you think that any fair judgment or anything could come from it. We all know, as long as this leadership of APC is. So we are just praying that God, in his infinite mercy, should keep us alive and protect us, for them to just finish their 2 years and get out. Okay, let them just finish and get out. We are done and tired of them and all the manipulation and all the shit they have brought to the institutions of governance in Nigeria, plus the killings and bloodshed. So I don't know why this discussion is happening. Nobody is giving a damn about ABC. Let them fight themselves. Let them do whatever they want to do. After 2 years, they should just get out. That's my point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marcel. Please remember to state that these are your opinions.
Yes, I see. If you conduct opinion polls,
let's have Dr. Ajulo to respond to this point.
Well, let me quickly say something.
Yes.
The last comment, the last contributor. Let me quickly, and let it be on record, that I take very strong exception to particularly the lines of thought, though he's entitled to his own opinion. But yeah, I believe you have to be there before you understand what is happening. The Supreme Court, I still say this as a lawyer in Nigeria, that Supreme Court are still man, but people of sterling character, competent, incorruptible. It is always very easy to cast aspersion. It is always very easy to make some comment, particularly that cast aspersion in personality of the people. If the last contributors on that, if we can just think back a bit to really know what you have to do before you can be a judge in this country, from being a judge down to the High Court judge, to Court of Appeal judge, then before you can get to the Supreme Court, then you now understand the kind of people that we have there. And I don't think it would be fair to them, particularly they are not even here to listen to what is happening. For anybody, whatsoever way of whosoever, how annoying or how it could be, to make very sweeping statement that disparage entire organs of government in Nigeria. I think I don't think this is what we should condone. This is what we should allow. Yes, we may have pockets of problem, but it shouldn't be that everything have to be put in the same basket and then you run down some of the best brain that have been celebrated all over the world. I think to say that the Supreme Court we talked today are still banned by the Mary Odile of this world, are still banned by my Lord Kayode, has been banned by the ECHO. Now we are still talking, mind you, we just mentioned about the certain judgments. There are some 3 justices out of 7 that gave that dissenting judgment. Are you now saying that maybe those people were not rich, that's why they gave that? And the pattern of their judgment, if you're a lawyer, you've read, you will see that they have remained consistent with their line of thinking. It just has to be the way they reason, not that anybody is being induced with one form of favor or form of any inducement. And I believe, and I must beg, such kind of statement should not be made, particularly in this kind of forum. Thank you.
Yes, let me, in harmony with, host, in harmony with what you are saying, it's always best to, when in a public forum like this, to always be mindful of the kind of language we use. Some form of words are not acceptable to be used in public. We can use that in private, but not in a public forum like this. Dr. Ajulo, let me ask you a question pertaining to what you said about the powers of the National Executive Committee of the party. Yes, do they have the powers to override a constitutional provision that has not, I mean the APC constitution this time, not the Nigerian constitution? Does the National Executive Committee of APC have the powers to override the party's constitution that has not been properly amended? I've been wondering, so going by the statements you made previously.
Your question, anyway, you know, I used to lecture, so there sometimes they will teach you some structure of questions. Your question is a bit, anyway, from the little I can understand from what you are saying is this. Let me now explain a bit about neck of the party.
Yes.
National Executive Council of APC or of any other party, though it depends on the way the terms and it is constituted, is the highest organ of the party. They happen to be the organ that can make a constitution. That means that even when they are duly constituted, they can change entirely the constitution. And having changed the constitution, there is law that gives them time to notify INEC.
Thank you very much. My question, if you get my question is, where they have the powers to amend the party constitution and where they have not so amended that constitution, should they take an action that conflicts with the constitution that they have made?
That is another thing. That's where I'm going to.
Thank you.
I want to let you know that some resolution of even the NEC can override the constitution. The NEC can pass a resolution that for the purpose of this gathering, the constitution of the party remains suspended. And if you can hire and you can fire, you can easily do anything. If I have the power to amend the constitution, to change the constitution, I can be able to make some resolution that will be binding and that can even alter the constitution. And I think that's what it is. It is, for example, why some people have been saying, canvassing the Nigerian constitution. You can hear me? Oh God. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
For example, many people have been saying that Nigerian constitution is so rigid that for you to amend the constitution, you need to, it is very complex. And I've been saying it is very easy. Once you can amend the amendment clause, then any other thing can be so happen. As of today, there are some stipulation, there are some conditions that should be met for amending our constitution. All you need to do is to go to that amendment clause relax all those conditions, and every other thing will be possible. So the NEC, to some extent, has such power to tinker with the constitution. It is more like the life of the party, and if they have power to amend the constitution, they have the power to do it, to override the constitution. But in some certain circumstances, though it may not be handy to spell those circumstances, but to some point. But whatever the NEC must have done or has done, they still need everything to be filed before the INEC, which is more like a supervisory agency of government that regulates the political party. It's just so unfortunate that NEC sometimes seem to be more relaxed over, or I won't say they've slept over their duty, because every point in time, it is their duty. It is more or less, apart from conducting election, they are more like regulatory organs of government that should regulate political party. The way we have a NAFDAC regulating the distribution of drugs, the way we have SON regulating most of the product being brought to this country, the way we have all those regulatory agencies of government. INEC is supposed to be the regulatory agency of political party. But how many times have they done that? They're supposed to check their finances. They're supposed to audit their accounts. They're supposed to check whether they spend such amount of money, whether it has been exceeded. But unfortunately, we are yet to hear anything of such. The only thing I can say when it comes to regulation is for INEC to should I call it disband, or to prescribe some political party for not being able to win election. And I think that is sad too, because election is just part of the function of political parties, not the main functions.
Okay, please remember that you can join the conversation simply by raising up your digital hand. And I can see another hand being raised. Marcel, you want to speak again?
You unmuted me. I don't know if I'm expected to talk.
Yes. No, not Mazzi. Marcel, I saw your hand. If Marcel is not available, Mazzi, please go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to make an observation. I'm not a member of APC, and as such, I'm not in the position to. I don't consider myself an authority in the provisions or the content of the constitution of the APC. But there was a statement he made that suggested that what was obtainable in APC is probably obtainable in all other political parties. And I felt I should correct that. I am a member of the PDP, and the highest organ of PDP is the National Convention. At the interim, there could be decisions, resolutions, and by NEC, but quite a number of them are subject to ratification in whatever the next National Convention of the PDP. NEC is not the highest organ of PDP, it's the National Convention. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, let me quickly, I concur with you. Yes, even the APC, National Convention, happen to be the highest organ. Yes, I agree with that. But one thing we have to know, I think maybe that is what we miss, was so before NEC, before convention can come to, it is the NEC that would bring whatsoever maybe the agenda, because without the agenda, convention cannot do. Maybe that is why I may just miss that one together, because maybe it is done in principle before. It is like you make some spending in governance and you still need some convening power to approve your spending. Whereas that's why they mention some spending in principle. Yes, NEC, most of what NEC is doing still needs a ratifying power of the convention. Yes, I really thank you for that. I'm really grateful.
You are muted.
I'm not muted.
Hello. Okay. Sorry. Before I allow Mazi Okoye to ask the question or make his comment, You mentioned that the National Executive Council has the power to tinker with the party's constitution. Now, the National Executive Council were the people that appointed Malam Bumi to lead that interim committee, the caretaker committee, and they are aware of the provisions of the APC constitution. Are they also aware of the Article 17, which states that no officer in any organ of the party shall hold executive position office in government concurrently? Because if they are aware of that, putting Malam Bumi is a clear violation of that Article 17. But
yes, you are right, but moderator, I want you to understand one thing. Yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead. Go ahead, please.
No, I said if they are aware of this Article 17, why would they put the party in jeopardy by pursuing an obvious illegal move?
Well, I've already said that some minutes ago. That we have to understand one thing. I'm not a member of the NEC. I did not hold any leadership position. It would be better that they should be put, or they should be asked this question. And that's why I said some minutes ago that some of us wonder what governs their thinking. That's why, if you remember some minutes ago, I talked about our action and omission, that sometimes we wonder what are those things that governs, that rules how Mr. A or Mr. B or Group A or Group B should act in this manner, particularly when you know that your action is quite inimical to the success of the group within which you operate. It is, I think, that you should be the NEC members or the leadership of the party that should be able to answer this question, because it's so clear. It's so clear. If a party can be flagrant and behave in such manner, then I'm afraid we should know that it's not you in this our democratic dialogue, so to speak.
Okay, Matthew, you have to give me another second. The committees appointed by the NEC, do they have an expiring date, or is just until NEC decides to dissolve such committees?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, if you remember, as at the first time when it was dissolved at the Villa, they were just given 6 months. From 6 months, it is only now on the pages of newspaper that you listen to some people, maybe in a conclave, has agreed it has to be extended. After some time, it has, as it is. I must say, it is not well with APC. It is not well. It is just, we just need to be careful and continue to pray for the party. And why I do say that is that irrespective of whether you're a member of the party, as long as this is a ruling party, it is more like a step. And you know, everything in Nigeria is precedent. If APC should get it wrong, and if she should get it wrong, I'll be sure that many other parties will get it wrong. And that is why some of us are worried. It is not about being a member of the party or not.
Okay, let's listen to Matthew Okoye. Matthew Okoye, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Kayode. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I noticed that you took an offense with somewhat uncut language used to dismiss the Supreme Court in regards to the APC. Do you think, in your opinion, that the judiciary, the legislative arm of that country, Nigeria, is working as it should be? You said that there are pockets of problems. What are these pockets of problems? Because to my mind, it seems to me that the system of the judiciary is non-existent in Nigeria. Can you please, give us some kind of hope that things are working? Because sitting here, I believe that things are not working. So these discussions that you're talking about, APC and the Supreme Court, in a way, maybe you as an elite lawyer there, but to somebody on the street, an average Nigeria like Marcel, although he used some kind of off-cut language, was saying people are desperate to get justice, to understand that things, judiciary is working, that there is a check between the judiciary and the presidency as it stands. Because as we see things at the moment, it appears that there's no check. Judiciary has no power at all to do anything.
Thank you, Marcel. Let me now explain. I quite appreciate I feel your sentiment. I feel your worries. And of course, there are some things that make want to think the way you are thinking. But let me let you know one thing. Judiciary, as we speak, is an institution in Nigeria, a very, very strong institution. In fact, it's one of the three arms of government. And when we talk of government, it is not about executive alone. It is about the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. And for any time you can see that today, whatsoever you say, we still have a government in Nigeria. Now, to your question, I have noticed something. I wish you are in Nigeria. I wish you've been in some of our courts before. You know that, and I must say this. I'm not saying this because I'm a lawyer, because I'm a practicing lawyer alone, but because of what I've seen. There are a lot of issues before the Supreme Court that have been dispensed with every day. Every day. Yeah, but one thing I've noticed, that when it comes to issue of politics, in whatsoever way the issue is determined, there must be complaint. I must tell you today, in Supreme Court, every day we have several cases being settled, and parties will go home with happiness. Some will hug each other. I'm an arbitrator. I know the amounts of money that every day that is being settled, issues is being raised, maybe in contract, maybe in commerce, shipping, everything, that today nobody will raise any issue whether it has been compromised. But come to politics. About 3 days ago or 4 days ago, Supreme Court gave judgment about Jegede Akeredolu. You can see how the hell has been let loose. The social medias has gone berserk noise. Whereas before that day, Monday, Tuesday, Supreme Court has been sitting, has been dispensing justice. Nobody will know anything about it. I wish, and I want you to do that. Do me a favor. Ask for any of Nigerian law reports. Pick any law report, go through it, read the ratio, read the reasons in most of the judgment, then you would now, and I'm sure this issue, whether judiciary is working or not, you will come back to say they are working. But when it comes to issue of politics, hell is always let loose. And that's why the issue will be, if Party A got the judgment, that means that Party B has compromised the court. If Party B got it, Party A will complain. Honestly, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is, and it's quite self-evident. And you may be surprised. I told to a friend of mine some time ago, during the COVID-19 in Abuja, for the first time, my law firm settled nothing less than 8 cases at Court of Appeal during lockdown. It will never come before the pages of newspaper. Nobody know what happened there. Everybody go home with happiness. But once it comes to politics, which it's about sentiment, nobody talked about law. And this Rotimi Akeredolu and Jegede case that's just been determined. By the time you look at the reason given, superb, clearly, okay. But today, many people will tell you the court has been compromised. I'm sure I just give you a new vista. Apart from political matters that always cause noise, refuse, and counter-accusation and counter-accusation. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of cases, issues, both in commerce, oil and gas, arbitration, human rights, everything. Recently, you will see several times the court will ask, so person must be released. The court will arise this SSS. It is not the same consider that the judges that we said have been compromised. I'm not saying the judiciary happen to be an angel. Of course, at least some of them have their own problem. But my worry is to take the entire institution and get a brush to paint the entire institution black is something that is unacceptable. And I'm sure you agree with me that even in committee of thieves, there are some saints there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kayode. Marcel, you'll be our last commenter for the day because our time is fast spent and we have to close the show. Marcel, the floor is yours. I can see your hand.
Okay.
If you're not here, I'll have.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the moderator. Dr. Kayode.
Yes.
Again, my kind of person, I do not know how to paint words. You need to understand that, I mean, I checked your records. You are a member of the Buhari legal team in 2019, okay? Now, some of you that are very close to leadership in Nigeria should understand that Nigeria is just one country out of 152 countries in the whole world, okay? And that whatever is happening in Nigeria, the international community are observing it and they are looking at it, okay? I'm in Nigeria. I have been to Nigerian courts. And when I talk from facts and figures. Now, the reason why I make my comment on the Supreme Court is very simple. In governance structure, integrity and perception is very key. Perception is very, very key. And that's why when issues come up, they will always tell people to ensure that justice is not only dispensed, but seen to be dispensed. Okay, you need, at least those two things are entirely different things. Now, when you look at what has been happening with the Supreme Court with reference to especially political matters, no, I mean, civil matters, you know, there is no stake in it. But political matters determine the political governance and system of the country, which governs every other thing. Okay, so it's a very critical component of the country that political matters should be as transparent as possible. Now, the Supreme Court is like God in Nigeria. Once it has made statements, nobody can challenge it. Now, when we now have to tamper with the governance system, with the way the leadership of that particular institution, and we know that from the laws of that institution, the leadership is also like the Almighty, determines basically what happens, determines the composition of judges. He appoints everything that happens all the way down to the judiciary. So when you hear people tell you they do no longer believe in the judiciary, it is because it is evident and clear that the process that turns out leadership, turns out the leadership in the judiciary and a lot of the judgment that has come out, especially political judgment that has come out from the Supreme Court lately, the citizens questions it. So take it back to leadership. Let them understand that, you know, you can sit in your house and lock your windows and hear all the good things you are telling your boss, but move out and speak with people on the street. Don't even believe me. I told you that if you want us to conduct a polls in Nigeria currently about the Supreme Court, both of us, I can engage you. We will sponsor a poll, advertise it, get what the people are feeling about that institution in Nigeria. And then we can come back and have the discussion. If you sit down in your room and make statements, it is just your opinion. It's not a statement of fact. But come out and let's conduct a poll and let's determine whether do Nigeria at this particular moment, do they believe, or what is their level of trust in the Supreme Court? You will not see anybody that will tell you they have up to 30% trust in the current
Now, let me quickly do this because I know the time is going. And I must say this, I'm not making a reference to you, but I want to tell you that it is in Nigeria or in some places where somebody that can't differentiate between a pop action and fly rifle. We'll be talking about AK-47 and any other thing. Look, law is law. Law, sentiment has no place in law. I raise the issue of politics because that's where our sentiment gets a bit gaga. Let me use that word. And to now suggest, and that won't show the ignorance, to now suggest that let us take opinion poll. It is like I don't play football, and you ask me to judge between Manchester and what do they call them? You know, I don't play football, so I may not know their name. Man U or Arsenal. To now say who plays better. Of course, what I saw on the TV is what I'll be saying, but it's more than that. It's more technical than that. It is like you approach a doctor and you are getting afraid to say, oh, so person want to die, and doctor is looking at you because he's technical. He knows what is happening. He has seen a lot, and that is why this issue is. It's like the way everybody do abuse the police, do castigate the police. Of course, it's like the way you ask a question. that let us have opinion pool about the conduct of Nigerian police. Yes, everybody will condemn the police, and you'll be shocked that most of those that condemn the police are the real criminal themselves. So, and that's why I said something, and I wish you can do that. Pick our law reports in whatsoever. Read the judgment. Even the judgment everybody complain about now. The reason for giving the judgment is yet to be published, because all what the Supreme Court just did is to say, yes, this is our judgment. We will furnish the reason. As a lawyer, it is then you will now see whether what this judge is saying is real or not. But to now say Supreme Court should be subject to public opinion, it's a very, I must be said with due respect, laughable, because this is a technical issue. Sentiment apart, law apart, and there's no way, no matter how sweet or how nice a sentiment is, can never decide the position of law. I know many people will tell you this thing must happen, let law take its course so that heaven will fall. And I've been saying it, heaven will never fall, because we have their mechanism, agency that will hold heaven from not falling. And even if heaven should fall, my brother, what matters most is, even maybe this is when God will allow us to see God. We have the opportunity to see God if heaven will fall. So all this issue of let's do this one should not happen, this one should happen, I think that those are the days. But I must be sincere. It will be better if I'm speaking with someone with the knowledge of law, then you now understand what it is. It is so easy to say this judge has taken bribe, but there is precedent, and most of these precedents are past judgment that must be followed, where you will know if a judge is we are in this court. It's the same Supreme Court that gave the issue of between AGRB and federal government that ceded some oil well to states. Of course, as at that time, the federal government, that's almighty federal government, can bribe everybody because we are talking of issue of money. No issue will come. You see, is it not in this country that yesterday, about 3 days ago, Zaki and this child man was asked to go home? Is it not in this country? Are you not saying that Rufai, with his power, cannot bribe up the judge there to do what we should go the other way? The law will continue to take its course, but because of our sentiments, we always believe things is not working the way it is. But as a lawyer, as somebody that is in center, it is working. Honestly, it is.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kayode. And that should end today's exclusive interview. We have been discussing